everybody, welcome to the Roundup, and I'm back. Dak doesn't need to be hosting. We don't need any other stupid guests like Mark Young. I'm back.
Yeah, mate, I ain't cut out for that serious job, mate. That's not for me. I'm delighted to have you back, and I never thought the day would come that I would be saying something as stupid as that. I've said stupid things in my time, but I'm glad you're back, my man. I missed you.
Mate.
But Mark was excellent.
I thought he was brilliant, and I appreciate him coming on and taking my place. He was really good. Talks a wee bit.
Oh, fuck, mate.
Knowledge was excellent, mate. It was good to hear. It was nice that somebody had a bit of knowledge about the level.
Exactly, mate, because it can't be me all the time, you know what I mean? So it was good to somebody else on, but good to have you back, brother. I'm sure the viewers will say it until you maybe no mention a team or you slag a team, then everybody will be saying, get him to France again. But you're going on holiday, so you're going to be able for a few weeks.
I'm going on holiday on Thursday, so I will miss next week. Hopefully I'll try and do the week after. I'll do it from across the pond, you know what I mean? But I you know what it's like, mate. I'll say somebody pissed somebody off, or I don't know. I didn't hear anything from the Muir Cup boys at the weekend or anything like that, so it's just one of the things. We'll be about a minute and a half in. Right, so before we start, as always, give you a shout out to our sponsor this week is VSN, who supply the quality kit for PG and Dak. If there's any committee members or any management listening to this, your team are looking for a new set of strips, VSN are the boys, the best about, and they do all the customised gear, top class. Right.
Top kiddies, mate.
Senior Scottish Cup, Hillaby 3, Irvine Meda 0, Co 1 and 2, Glencairn 1. We'll start on the Meda. Disappointing result. I thought after last week they were going to correct it and get the win. And it's led to their management team stepping down, which is quite a shame because Spenny and Lat are good guys and know a lot about this level.
Aye. Firstly, gutted for them because they're at the West, they're at the Scottish, and it's another West team that we've lost. We want all teams still competing in the Scottish Cup because it gives us that good interest. But well done to Hurlford. It's a very good result, and it's a disappointing one for Meda. They'd have been hoping to go there and get the result, and they've came up short. But I definitely just don't like to see that. Spenny and Lat have always been good with us, good guys, had tremendous careers playing wise, and they've done good jobs down there. Do you know what I mean? If you think back a few weeks ago when they went to home part and they won down at Clydebank and then they won the Marymast and that, so it's like they've still had their ups this season. Do you know what I mean? But saying by mutual consent that they've left, and gutted to see that because they're two good guys and that's a really good club. But I tell you one thing's for sure, that club's not going to be short of people throwing a hat in the ring for it, because Meda are a massive, massive club, and I'm sure people would love to get that job. But I want to say well done to Spenny and Lat, because I thought they'd done some really good work down there. And again, we don't like to see any manager move on or lose their job, even though it looks as if it was a kind of joint decision. So wish the boys all the best, and no doubt they'll be back in somewhere in the near future because they're that good, and the two of them are so switched on and know the game, mate.
Definitely. I'd echo that as well. The two of them have always been very good to us when we went down there.
Yeah.
Two good guys. So wish them all the best. Like you said, no doubt the Meda will have a long list of people wanting that job. It's an absolutely massive club at this level.
There's people, and you know what it's like, mate, the chats will be going mad and the rumour mill will be started, and I'm sure
you've had a taste of the Premier League with Paul as a coach. Any chance of you throwing your hat in the ring?
Listen, mate, I'm happy at Paul, mate. Some club, mate, massive club. Maybe one day, mate, Dak, mate. Maybe one day one club will want to take a punt on Uncle Dak, mate. Do you know what I mean? To lead a club forward, but at this moment in time, mate, I'm learning my trade still, mate. So I just need to bide my time, and I'm at a great club now, mate. But listen, mate, never know the future, mate.
I'd also put it out that I'd like to put it out that I'm not going for a job.
Mate, early made a chairman on the phone.
Oh, shh. You're getting it right.
No,
Um,
but listen, no, there'll be loads of great. There's lots of great options out there for them. Do you know what I mean? And
Definitely.
I know a couple myself that I think would be good for the job. But listen, it's got to be the right fit for the club and the people at the same time as well. But
Definitely. Definitely.
first and foremost, it's just raw for the management, so it's no good to see, mate. And I wish the boys all the best in there.
Aye, definitely. Kilwinning beating Glencairn 2-1. In the replay, Glencairn have gave a good account of themselves. Very unfortunate, like you said last week, they were very unfortunate not to make it, losing a late goal to get the draw, and then Kilwinning managed to see it through, which I think that Gorms and the boys would have been very disappointed if they hadn't. But Glencairn will probably be feeling a wee bit down about the fact that they've pushed them so close. But I think that's a great effort considering. I mean, that's a top team. They've played their 2 games and just missed out by 1 goal out
Yeah.
of 2 games. So I think it's a great effort for them.
Yep, Glencairn will take a lot of positives out of that, mate, definitely. Pushed them all the way, 180 minutes. I think that maybe I kind of mentioned it last week, man. I think that they were maybe was just getting to that where they maybe just missed it, man. Missed the boat
Aye.
last week. We conceded in the last minute, but they've went 2-0 down. Big Dylan Martin with a double. He's a really good player, a handful for any defence this season. He started really well doing it, Kilwinning, and looks a right good signing for Gorms and the Kilwinning team. Knows where the back of the net is. And then our wee pal Fiasco McManus got them back in the game, Ryan McManus. But it's a great result for Kilwinning because they've been down to 10 men as well. They've played a large part of the game with 10 men, so for them to go through and win the game 2-1, brilliant for them. They're in the first round proper and they've got a tough tie against Troon, but they're in the draw. No, not in the draw. In fact, the draw's been made, but they're in the
Aye,
next
it's
round,
right,
mate. It's brilliant for the club. It gives them another tie in the Scottish Cup in a couple of weeks to look forward to. It's a brilliant result for them, and I think that Glencairn more than played their part in a couple of great cup ties over the last couple of weeks, and they've just fell just short, mate. But they've got loads of positives to take out of that because let's be honest, they were only a few minutes away from going through themselves at one point. So well done to them. But many congrats to Kilwinning, and let's hope that they can go on day one on Trinent because they done our boys, they done Darvel, didn't they? So
right,
we're
they did
looking
indeed.
for them.
Well, on that, with Trinent, obviously, Callum Elliott's not a manager anymore. He's hearing rumours of a wee bit of disharmony about the camp. Kilwinning will fancy that. I think if that's the case, Kilwinning will fancy that. But then you're looking at yourselves having Huntly, Clydebank, having Spartans. There's a lot of good ties for our clubs but difficult ties in the first round.
Aye, mate, listen, but what the Bankies and that showed last year is that their clubs are more than capable of taking scalps, you know what I mean? Some of our teams are playing Lowland League teams, some of them are playing Highland League teams, which on paper is playing against teams higher level than us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hoping to take the scalps, you know what I mean? Brilliant that our game's getting covered with the BBC, mate. What an occasion that's going to be for the club. They
Gutted
deserve
I'm
that.
missing it.
The players, man, it's brilliant for the players, and getting that Friday night under the lights going to be outstanding, and it's brilliant for Huntly too. So, no, we've got lots of great ties in a couple of weeks to look forward to, and I'm buzzing myself because I'm going to get a new skin fade and I want to be looking on fleek for the cameras, mate.
Right, let's move on to league action. Friday night games, we had Darvel 4, Athlone 0, Pollock 2, B 3. On the Saturday, Cambuslang 0, Clydebank 3, Hurlford 2, Troon 0, Robroy 1, Glenafton 2, Largs 2, Cumnock 1, Petershill 1, Auchinleck, Talbot 1. We'll start, as always, with yourself, Dak. Friday night, tough one. B, they looked like they came out of the traps, absolutely flying, just based off what I've seen on Twitter and what I'd heard. How was it?
You're right, mate. I think they came out the traps, aye. They were excellent, to be fair to them, mate. Really thought they played well on Friday night. Don't think we were at it. I think too many of our players had an half day, and that's what I'll call it, an half day. That's your first defeat of the season. It's not nice. You don't want to lose games at home, and especially on a Friday night where you've got a good big crowd there, you want to put on a show and you want to make a statement. But listen, full credit to Bees. I thought they were very good. I thought they were well worthy of their 3 points. I think if we Sidey's hit the bar in the last couple of minutes to get a point, and to be honest with you, I think if we took a point at the game, it'd have been really harsh on Beeve, I think they fully deserved the points. I think they grafted so hard. They just grafted. They knocked their pan in, mate, and they executed their game plan to a team, mate. And I think that Straney had them fired up, and I think the boys delivered for him on the day. They caused us problems with Josh Fowler, led the line really well, and the boy Monk, and they defended well throughout the game. So listen, you've got to be honest in these situations, and listen, I would be daft to come here and say otherwise, because there was that many people there. I would look stupid, because I don't think we deserved getting out the game, and I don't think we were at the races. But saying that, we fully deserved a win, and I thought they were very, very good, and impressed me, mate. They look like a tight unit, and I think they'll cause teams a lot of problem this year. So well done to them, and listen, we just need to get back to training on Monday, and let's not try and overthink it. As I said, it's the first game we've lost, but we've just got to get going again, and it just shows you that we've still got a lot of work to do. And listen, our players, we've got tremendous players at the club, man. We'll get them going again, and hopefully we can kick back next week and give a wee give a wee jag and a wee bounce back next week. Do you know what I mean? It's a big game against Clydebank, but I'm disappointed, mate. I'm a bit flat after it, but it's just one of the days, mate. Wasn't your day?
That's it. That puts Beeve joint second with Darvel on 9 points. Darvel ahead on goal difference, because Darvel are absolutely flying with their goals. On that 4-0 against Arpley appears to be very comfortable, and Ross Meakin scored an absolute beauty, man.
That's some goal, mate, isn't it?
You know what it's like having, I mean, even anybody playing at any level, you know how hard a technique that is outside of the boot on the half volley. Excellent execution for him.
Yeah.
Some state. Arthurley, obviously.
I think the goalie's got to do better.
You're right, mate. He's got to get a horn on that at least,
mate, it's frightening, mate, to be fair, mate. That's technique at the highest max, mate. That's, at the end of the day, you go out and sign quality players, man. You sign players that can do things like that, and I think and to be honest with you, he's came for a defender. He's a defender as well, mate. So that's even more why you should be stoning up, man, like that. Wow, that's a great strike, because defenders aren't renowned for their strikes like that, mate. But it
was a great finish. Be fair, Davila are really starting to turn the screw a bit now. I mean, in the league, they're absolutely flying, scoring so many goals after that initial defeat.
Yeah,
we're not really surprised about it, though. They're a top team, in my opinion. They've got the best squad in the league, so you expect them to be going and winning most games.
We've went out and signed Riley, haven't they, for Kelty, which is a top signing. You know what I mean? Especially at this level, and he's going to make them even better. And then you've got the likes of Big Al McKenzie, Big Handsome Aaron. You know what I mean? He's hitting form. He's scoring goals. They look as if they're solid at the back again, but. But the league is showing, mate, especially this weekend's results, man. Every team's beating every team. Do you know what I mean? It just shows you. I've said it all along. I don't think there's not a bad team in the league. Do you know what I mean? I think every team on their day is more than capable of taking points off anybody. Every team's fit. Every team can be is well organised and well coached. So I think that Darvel are tapped the new and they've got
Hurlford are tapped.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. Hurlford fans will be raging with that, but. I think it's been a good start, especially after the disappointment of losing the first game for me. These teams would have they've done really well, and that's a good result on Friday.
Definitely. On Hurlford, league leaders, beating Troon 2-0. That's a good result for me. I think that Troon, I know they've won 2 and lost 2, but Troon have proven they're a very, very difficult team to beat. They're a good side, and I think that even though we did mention them a bit more at the end of the season, they're a kind of go quietly about a business type side. And that's a good win for Hurlford. The fact that they're still unbeaten, the only unbeaten team in the league, is very impressive, because, like you said, but there's no bad teams in this league. And your Petershill drawn with Talbot, Largs beating Cumnock. These results show that there's a lot of quality in the league, you know what I mean? And that's very well done to Hendo and his team.
Aye, mate. I was praising him the other week. Yeah, I think he's done a fantastic job, mate, Hendo, and that, and their team's doing really well. They again are a tight unit, but it looks like for the outside they're a tight knit bunch, you know what I mean? A tight knit group, but they've got lots of quality in there. players like Squib, mate, man, I know he might
Good
be
player,
getting a
man.
wee bit older and Taz and stuff,
But
but they still deliver, mate, week in, week out, do you know what I mean? Big Robertson and all that as well. So they've got a lot of experience, but they've also got good young players there as well, do you know what I mean? So I think they've got the perfect mix and perfect balance, and for them to be sitting tapping, as you say, still undefeated, man, it speaks volumes for the players, it speaks volumes for the job that Hendo and his staff are doing, and I think they're sitting in a great position and they've had a great start, mate. Do you know what I mean?
aye.
To be sitting top at this stage, mate, it doesn't matter. Just it matters
They've
four
been
games
very
in, mate.
solid.
It's
That's
really
only one
impressive.
goal. They've lost one goal in 4 games, and it's a
Aye,
very good goalkeeper they've got as well.
aye, Big Ginger's good, mate.
I
Aye,
went down and watched them obviously with the Kelly Pie Cup final last season, and both teams were on their arse in terms of squad and that. Both were really struggling, but you could see there was a bit of quality. And they were very. I wouldn't have said they were an overly playing out for the back far too much, but they
no.
were very good at what they did. They were very strong defensively, good big goalkeeper, go forward quickly, score goals. And let's be honest, if you can do that, you're going to win a lot of games.
Hendo switched on, mate. He's not going to play a style of play, mate, when maybe the players aren't quite comfortable with that. He's obviously got a style to play that the players are really confident in and they're comfortable with, and everybody knows their job and everybody knows what's expected of them. And sees a player, mate, when you're going out, and you know exactly what the gaffer's after, what he's trying to do, mate. That's a recipe for success, mate. So aye, they've done superbly, and they've continued to kick on for a really good season last year, mate.
Yep. Clydebank beating Cambuslang 3-0. Clydebank needed that after a couple of defeats.
Yeah.
Cambuslang still waiting for that initial point. We both predicted them to go down. They lost far too many goals for me, and Williamson and Gemmell. Really, really hard to replace, but it's going to be tough for them. Glenafton, a good win against Rob Roy, because Rob Roy are flying. Both of their teams, I think, will be very much causing teams issues. Will be difficult teams to beat. Petershill beating Dromore Talbot. That's a massive result for them. That's their first point on board. Talbot, I don't feel are the team that they have been. I think they're lacking a wee bit. I think Tucker was saying in his interview post match that he was kind of dancing about it, but he wasn't. What I think he was getting at is the teams know quite the toughness and the mentality that they had before. Teams don't seem to be fearing playing at Talbot anymore, and they're still a top side, but they've only
Yes.
won 2 in the first 4, which for them and their standards isn't good enough at the moment.
I totally agree, mate. I think that it's been a it's been a difficult start for them. But see, one thing is, I'm buzzing, mate. I'm buzzing for the boys at Peasy, Willie and Millsy and that, because they've had a tough few games to start with, and to get that first point, and especially against Talbot, that will do wonders for their confidence. They've went out and signed a few players, signed Shelby Fjords, big Terry Hewitt, they've signed him, he's got man of the match in his
Big,
first game, mate.
big
Big
300
experience.
teams, Hewitt.
Aye, Tiger Woods, big mere clubs in Tiger Woods, man. Honestly, anywhere the Budo is, man. Terry's here.
Big mercenary.
Honestly, here, but no. Honestly, mate, I'm buzzing for them. But that Talbot will be disappointed with that, because them and their fans would fully expect to go up there and go and take you 3 points. Clydebank's good result, 3-0, clean sheet, gets him back to winning ways in the league. Glenafton, great result. Aye, they've kicked on. They've had a wee bit of form, couple of good cup results, and then that's a really good league win, because we've been singing Rob Roy and Max's praises a lot of late. So really good for them. So aye, listen, as I said, any team any given week, man, it's hard to pick the winners sometimes.
Just to finish it off, even though I touched on it a couple of minutes ago, Largs beating Cumnock is a big one for me. First win.
Yeah,
Can I forget though, Largs have only lost 1 game. It's not like Largs have
I
lost 3
know.
and that's their first win. They're a difficult team to beat, and excluding the tanking they took off Rob Roy, they're a good side. Arnie's boy, I think it was, scored
Yeah.
one of the goals. They're a good team. They're difficult to beat. I think Arnie's done a great job, and aye, they'll be really happy with that, because, like we've said, we've spoken quite a lot about it. Cumnock are a good side and will cause teams a lot of issues this season.
He's done a tremendous job, mate, because they've not quite got the resources probably, and they're not in the catchment area where it's pure easy to get players to go there either. So the job he's done's been magnificent. aye, it's a great result. We've seen this season already how good they can be and resolute and strong. So defend really well. But that's a top result for them because again, Kilmarnock was another team who have been singing a lot of praises of this season. They've started the season really well. So for Larks to go and get the result against them this week, man, it's testament to how well they've played, and it's a very, very good result for Larks, and they'll be buzzing off that, mate.
Definitely. The league's looking very, very tight. You see that? Like, all right, Hurlford have got 10 points. It's been a tremendous start. But everybody's beating everybody. It's going to be
Yeah,
very interesting. But moving on to the first division, Benburb 0, Blantyre 1, Bonnet 2, Drumchapel 3, Johnstone Burgh 3, Rossvale 0, Kilbirnie 3, Gartcairn 1, Thornywood 2, Shotts 1, Whitlets 2, St Cadoc's 4, Neilston 3, St Roch's 2. We'll start with top of the table, Neilston. That was very, very hard fought game for them on Saturday to beat the Rock. I think that
yeah.
Davy has definitely had a very good start. I know points wise, it's been no bad for the Rock, but I think that they're showing they're a good side, better team than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah,
Scoring 2 against Neilston, I know it's 2 goals. Neilston don't lose many goals. Getting a couple of goals against them is I suppose it's a reflection on how well they're done. But Neilston, a great win, seeing it through, keeping themselves top of the
we're
league.
in the lead and all, the Rock and all.
Aye,
So, but no, it's a great result for Neilston. I mean, that's the Rock are not going to be an easy game for anybody this season. Do you know what I mean? So that's a good win for them.
aye. A big result in the league as well. Kilbirnie beating Gartcairn 3-1. I was looking at the fixtures. I was working yesterday. I was looking at the fixtures before the game started, and I thought that could have been a real kind of banana skin for Tommy and Kilbirnie. It's a great win because Mick's been doing quite a good job with Gartcairn. Again, probably not as many points as they would like, but again, they're a very difficult team to beat. That's a good result.
Aye, I think they've bounced back well since they lost to St Roch's at home. Kilbirnie have picked up, I think, 6 points in the league. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They've had 2 wins. I think it'll be 2 wins on the
2
bounce.
wins,
You know what
aye.
I mean? So it's a perfect way to bounce back for that. And aye, listen, we've always said that we fully expect Kilbirnie to be up there. So I think it's a really good, strong result for Kilbirnie because it's not a home game in it.
Aye.
They've had their fans back, I take it.
I think that's them past
They're,
it. Aye,
they're
so
back, so I think that would have been a welcomed return for them, and it's always good for them to return with a wee victory, mate. So I well done to Tommy and the boys.
and another result for excuse me. Another result for the team who are joint top with Neilson and Kilbirnie is one that you tipped to have a good season. Johnstone Burgh beating Rossvale 3-0. They just seem to keep going. Seem to be a really good
Yeah.
side, the Borough. And that's a big result, even though Rossvale are right down there. You seen with them getting the draw last week, yeah, the other week there, they're starting to improve. But the Borough
Aye, and
very
they
comfortable
need
going
your
to get the
cut
win.
and penalties and the Scottish and that, so they're
Aye.
making it. They're adding players and they're making it much more difficult for teams. So it's a good solid performance with Johnstone Burgh. They've got some good players. I've seen that they
Yep.
played a 16-year-old and all again. That Jamie's got this great way about finding the young talent and getting them into the team and that, and it's really good and refreshing to see. So aye, Jamie's doing a great job there, and Johnstone Burgh have started the season. They'll be really happy with their start to the season because last season they didn't have a great start, and it was because of their finish towards the end of the
Aye.
season that gave them the finish that they got and got them in the position they were in. So for them to start the season strongly will be very positive news for Jamie and all at Johnstone Burgh. A
Yep.
new chairman down there and all.
That's right. I've seen that this week. Aye.
Yeah.
Another result, which I think is actually maybe a bigger result than it appears, is Drumchapel beating Bonnet 3-2. Ross is seeming to get. It looks like he's starting to get Bonnet and ticking a wee bit more. You mentioned it last week again that they're starting to, even though they're not winning, they're starting to look more like a Ross Wilson team who are going to be difficult to beat, who
100%.
are going to be a better side. So for Hopi, that's a good result, and they might be a wee bit disappointed with only having 9 points out of the first 5 games. But I think that they're showing that's the last couple of one new, the one in the Scottish Cup last week. They're starting to get turning again. Templeton's probably going to get fitter and fitter every week, and he will
Scoring a
start
few goals, isn't he?
to see his goal a week there.
Aye, mate.
When he
It
just
was,
curled in the top corner.
no,
Beautiful.
that was me, yeah, wee mate Waters, mate.
No, I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I'm thinking about the one thing
Neilston.
against Kilsyth, mate. Kilsyth Athletic, mate, with some strike with wee mate Waters,
Oh,
mate.
I never seen that during the weekend.
Right in the tap bin, mate, right in the onion bag, wee man. But aye, so that's the one I'm thinking about, mate.
Oh, I never seen that during the week. Another good result for Blantyre beating Benburb. The Bens really only having the start that they would have liked. Only get one out of 4, and they've no won in the last 3. They're a good side, the Bens. You expect them to be doing a bit better than that, but I'm quite pleased to see Blantyre do well. Gibby's a friend of the show, and I tipped them to have a good season.
You did,
That's 3
mate.
wins out of 4. They're looking
Yeah.
right on. If they win their game in hand, they go top of the league, so they're having a really good start.
Solid start. Do you know what they're showing, mate? They're very strong defensively.
Aye.
I think Johnny Greer, the goalies, who get man of the match. That says, I think the Bens were down to 10 men today. But big John Barnett centre half and stuff with Craig Kerr and wee Johnny in goals and stuff, and Dale Jones right back. And that you've got a good solid defence. And I always say, I've said that a few times in the show, if you're keeping clean sheets, you're nicking these games. You're nicking these games 1-0. You're always going to be picking up points, whether it's draws or you're picking up maybe 1-0s, they tough 1-0 games. It's a great habit to get into, keeping clean sheets and being hard to break down. But no, buzzing for Gibby because it was a disappointing season for them last year, and it was really difficult for them. And brilliant that they stuck by him in that as well, because he's a top manager, mate, and they're reaping the benefits of that, and they've got really good young players in there as well. We played them in pre-season, and really boys with some bright futures ahead of them, and they've added a few experienced players in there. So great start for Blantyre, and they'll just be hoping to keep that consistency going.
Definitely. I have a guess. What do you want? What? You want to stay downstairs? She doesn't want to go to bed. She's at school in the morning and she doesn't want to go to bed.
Well, just dog it, Anna. You don't need to
go. She missed a week because she had chicken pox. She's not missing any more.
You don't need to go, honey. You just dog it.
School's
like
your
uncle Dak used to do. Just dog it.
Right, away you go. Right, away you go. Go and see Mum. Watch that cable away. Anna, go.
Mum's not saying.
I don't care. Go.
I always tell you, good cop, bad cop. Listen to him, man.
Right. Whitlets 2, St Cadoc's 4. St Cadoc's the only unbeaten team in the league, and I'm gonna. What are you doing? Just trying to take cookies now. Trying to take a bag of cookies. Hurry up! Away you go to your bed.
Take your jar, honey.
Honestly, St Cadoc's the only unbeaten team in the league. 1-2 drawn 2, keeping themselves right in the mix. Again, another team, if they win, they can skip ahead of the top 3 just now. But Whitlets have definitely proven me wrong. I know they've lost 3 in the bounce, but it's not like they're going out and taking downs off anybody. They're losing to top teams. They're having a really solid season.
I think with Whitlets, mate, they were never going to be like that. But I think a disappointment for them is that they've been taking 3 points has been taken off them, so it's put them lower than what they probably put them a bit lower than where they would probably like to be. Do you know what I mean? Because of 3 points deducted, but. St Caddock started really well. They've got a big squad, man. Every time I look at their team sheet, man, I see new players there.
I know. I think the only squad that might match them is
Doyley, you're getting back, Doyley, son. You're getting well back. And the thing is, to be fair, they're winning their games, mate. So it's proven really well. But they've got some quality players there, mate. They're going to be right up there.
Some value for the fans. I think it was 2 each after about 20 odd minutes. You know what I mean? It was a lot of goals right early on.
See the games in that league and the scores and that, mate, it is top value for money. You're talking about in between six and 8 quid, 5 and 8 quid to get in, mate. Brilliant money.
Well worth the money.
Watch these teams.
Well worth the money. And finally, I mentioned to Thornleywood, a really good win against Shotts. Shotts really not having a great season, only won 1 and 4. But Thornleywood got their second win, moved themselves kind of into mid-table. It's a really good result for them.
Always see it, mate.
A good side after beating Kilbirnie as well.
Yeah, always see it, mate. I think Nizzy, Dolsey and that done a great job. John great job down there. They've got some good players. I think that it's been difficult. I think if you followed Shots during pre-season and you heard what John was saying about it, he's had a lot of frustrations. He's not been able to get the targets that he really wanted at Shots, and I think he's had to bring a lot of young players in and rely on young players and hoping that the few experienced players that he had there would bring them on. But Shots only showed last week, mate, how good they can be when beating Cumbernauld in the cup. It's just maybe not quite clicking in the league for them. But listen, it's early days, and one thing's for sure, John's a good manager, and they'll be fine, mate. They'll be picking up results in the league in no time, mate.
Aye, definitely. Moving on to Division 2. Ardeer 0, Renfrew 3, Ashfield 3, Kilsyth 1, Craigmark 2, Greenock 3, Forth 2, the Ants 1, Perthshire 3, Muirkirk 1, Yoker 4, Maple 2, Glasgow United 0, Glasgow Uni 2, Maryhill 0, Wishaw 2. I'm going to start on Greenock. I think that this is my result of the week. It's a phenomenal result, particularly considering Greenock had 10 under-21 players playing against Craigmark, who are one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, Craigmark, that's their first defeat in 5. Greenock, I think Nixon's got to be really happy, right? He's got such a young team. I speak to Nixon quite regularly.
Yeah.
And he was saying that they were struggling. I spoke to him on a Friday night. He said they weren't sure if they would have a goalkeeper. The keeper came back late for holiday on Friday. 10 under-21s in the starting 11. They've had a really hard time, but he's sticking by his guns. He's got a young team. He's going to try and play football the way that he thinks it should be played. Got to take my hat after him. Absolutely massive result against a cracking side.
Mate, it's a great result because you've seen Craigmark beating Largs in the cup the week before. Just shows you what their stock's all about and how well they've done. Listen, we've praised Ryan and the Craigmark team most weeks since the season started, and quite rightly so, because their form had been outstanding and they'd been winning all their games. So that is a tremendous result for Greenock. Happy for Derek and stuff like that, and as you say, Nixon, and that's what you'll get for the young boys. One week it'll be brilliant. You'll just be like that, outstanding, and you're thinking this is amazing. These young boys with their enthusiasm and the quality can gain in the next week. It's just that inconsistency. But listen, they'll keep working at that. That is one of the results of the weekend for me as well, mate. And I think they were 2-0 down, were they not?
They were.
2-0 down, mate. So 2-0 down against a really good team whose confidence is really high. So for Greenock then to go and win the game 3-2, what that's going to do for the boys' confidence, the young boys are going to take real confidence for that. It shows they can compete with the best teams in the league. It's a brilliant 3 points for Greenock, so very well done to all Greenock. Well done, boys.
Another excellent result for me was Yoker beating Maple 4-2. We've spoken at length how we think that Maple are a very good side. We've also said that Yoker are a good side, but to go and take 4 off Maple is an excellent result for Gordon and his team, and I think that is that's kept it nice and tight at the top, because you've got Renfrew and Craigmark on 12, Ashfield and Maple on 10, then you get Yoker on 9. That's a nice tight pack here. And I think that'll be your 5 that'll be really pushing for the league this season for me.
Gordon's done really well because they lost a lot. They lost a few players because how well they done. Well, they had good players there, but I think their run to the Scottish Cup final obviously made a few more clubs take notice of their players. And it's always a downside when you do so well in a cup competition. You get more eyes on you watching your games. So, and I think they lost a big striker they had at the start of the season. I think he maybe have been going to Peterhead. I don't know if that happened or not. So for Gordon just to keep getting the results for his players and his team just shows how good a manager he is. And the job that he's doing there has been excellent. That's a great victory for Yoker.
Yep. Moving on to your old team, Ashfield, having a really good run at the new. I think Mick has got them playing really well. Still got that, even though they only lost 1 at the weekend, they've still got that kind of issue that you and Maxie had there, where it's 5-4s, you know what I mean? They're scoring a lot.
Aye.
But look, I think they must be one of the best teams for value for money to go and watch, because it's always so exciting for their game.
Brilliant to see.
That's a really good result, 3-1.
Yeah, brilliant to see. Good to see. I just hope that I think that Mick will start to be getting used to the home surrounding, mate. We've always said that you sometimes need to play a wee bit different at home to away from home when you're at Ashfield. That's just part of the gig. But what a result for Ashfield, buzzing for the start for them. It's a real solid start. I'm delighted for Mick, Jamie and the boys there, especially Coco and Jamesy and that boys that were there before. But the new boys that have come in, you've got John Black getting I think is it John Black? John?
He's got 5 goals he's got now.
Is
The
it
goals
Black?
he's
I know
got.
it's Black anyway. He's got a good double. I watched his goals, man. He led the line really well and took his 2 finishes superbly well. And you've got wee Perry, Jordan Perry in there, looks as if he's strutting his stuff in the middle of the park. So great start for Mick and the boys, and it's good for them to get a good home victory at Sarri Park. So it's been a nice solid start for Ashfield and a good start to the boys' managerial career at the West of Scotland.
We'll see, you're talking about Black on 5 goals. That's a cracking return in the first 5 games. But you look at Ashfield, some of the strikers you had, I mean, who was it you mentioned earlier? Literally,
Ryan McManus.
Ryan McManus had a great time for you. He's a really important player. That's him scoring now. Callum Graham, I mean, he's I think he's one of the top goal scorers in the Premier League.
Wee Brad Rodden went
Mate, I was going to say that at Alloa, absolutely
He's at Alloa.
again at the weekend. You've
Ben
got Ben
Daly's
Daly,
goal.
and it's he's some amount of
Tell you why,
very good goal scorers.
tell you why, mate. Tell you why.
Him in, didn't you?
Because we played sexy football, mate. We played sexy football. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, it's just like
it's about entertaining the people. See the 5 guys in the dug, mate. It's about entertaining them, mate. Do you know what I mean?
You're saying sexy football, but the way Ashfield play football is like my sex. Sometimes it's all right. Sometimes pretty good, sometimes pretty shit. You know what I mean? But no, look, that's another great result. One I want to touch on is Ardeer getting beat 3-0 Renfrew. No, I don't mean this to sound in a condescending way, right? Did you Sean's interview, because I'd said to you about it yesterday. Sean was absolutely raging, and I don't mean this to sound condescending, but that shows for me how far Ardeer have come, that losing 3-0 to a good Renfrew team is not acceptable. Whereas a few years ago, you'd have been 3-0 off Renfrew. That is what it is. That shows how much they've improved. That's not acceptable to him. He was absolutely raging at the weekend there.
See, Sean, mate. Sean is that passionate and that much fire in his belly, mate, that they could go and play Darvel and get beat 3-0 and Sean would be raging, because the demands that he puts in his players, he wants nothing but the best, and that's quite right, mate. As a manager, you set high expectations, and it's up to you want the players to deliver. Do you know what I mean? There's no point in settling for second best. He's going to be angry. Do you know what I mean? By the sounds of it, the boys haven't turned up and they haven't performed and they've had an half day. But listen, take nothing away from Renfrew, for Jimmy and the boys after their good start to go down there, score 3 goals, keep a clean sheet. It can be a tough place to go to with the Ardeer Ultras.
10 men for about an hour as well.
Aye, they go down to 10 men, and the Ardeer Ultras, they can make it uncomfortable for you. They can get you stinking, do you know what I mean, when you're down there too. But aye, it's a great result for them. But aye, listen, I think as a manager, sometimes you should come out and be angry with your players, because at the end of the day, if you're not happy and they've no done what you've asked, or no gave the bare minimum of what you asked, then I think sometimes it's quite right to come out and give them a wee bit tight, because at the end of the day, it's what you expect, and you're looking for better, and you're hoping that it gets a reaction as well. So I don't see it. I don't see it wrong with it at all. I think Sean's relationship with the players as well. I think the players should be taking it in the chin and looking for a bit of bounce back after them next week, because they need it. Do you know what I mean? That's a disappointing result at home, because they've got a crowd down there now that they expect you to get everything, and they're probably not happy with it this week. But listen, Ardeer and the work Sean's done there is magnificent, mate.
It does show how far they've come. That's not
100%, mate. I remember Ardeer were taking, if you were going to Ardeer, didn't get no disrespect to them, but if you were going down to Ardeer and you weren't taking double figures, man, sometimes you were going, we should have done better when you weren't scoring a lot of goals and stuff. So for where he's took the club in such a short space of time is absolutely unbelievable, man.
Definitely. A great result for Perthshire. They've had quite a tough start, but that was a really big one against Muirkirk. Muirkirk are a funny team for me, because they've got a lot of quality in there. They go and get good results. They don't seem to have started yet, but I suppose that they had that spell last season where they did this, where they were very much started well, then went through a really tough spell when they had a lot of games off, and then they won the winning when they were playing, and then they kicked on again at the end of the season. Does show they've got quality, but they're just struggling. It's maybe one of the patches that they're going through the game. But it's a great win for Perthshire.
Well, they won their first game of the season very comfortably against Maryhill, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, they're going to be a real force, and then they've not just quite kicked on, mate. But then what Muirkirk have got is next week they can go to top of the league, or they could go to like one of the teams at the top, and they could win. They could go to Renfrew and get a result. That's kind of them in a nutshell. Shire, brilliant.
Yeah,
good for
great
them,
result.
Because they've not had like probably the best of starts. But did you see wee Paul Butler's goal, man?
Yeah, I've not seen anything for the weekend.
Oh, mate, the volley.
Good, Gene. Oh, no, I did see that. Mate. I did see that. It was a belter, wasn't it?
Oh, technique.
That's one of the only things I actually.
Because that's another boy that I coached, mate. Technique. Brilliant goal for him, mate, and well done to Billy in the Shire troops, because it's never an easy place to go to, mate. So for them to get off the mark, I think that's even get off the mark at home. Is that their first one?
That's their first one of the season, aye.
So for them to get off the mark at home, they'll kick on for there. They've got some good players down there. When Billy gets them off fit, not available, mate, they're not going to be easy for anybody. So well done to them.
I don't think I'd ever lose a game if I played for Billy. The guy absolutely terrifies me, man.
Oh, mate,
I would. Scary man.
He would ride down me.
Oh, mate, when he fancy it. Fourth, beating the Ants 2-1, late goal to get the win. Really good win for fourth. The Ants, obviously my old team, a team I've got a lot of affection for and a lot of time for. Still talk to guys there. I know it's only 4 games in, but they need to start picking up some points. They got a draw in their first game against Wishaw, I believe it was.
Yeah.
They've lost the 3 since. I know they're not getting leathered off anybody. They're not that type of team, but they need to start picking up points.
It's a tough league game, especially when winning in the cup, man. They were hoping that would have been the wee jag and the wee bit of confidence they needed, and for them to lose, especially if you're saying it's late on, then that'll be disappointing for Danny. And that, but losing any game's hard, but then when you lose it late, when you're maybe then quite content to take a point, it's a hard one to take. So nah, he'll not be, with Danny, he's a passionate guy, he's done a great job there, but he'll not be happy with the start, do you know what I mean? But hopefully they'll pick up something soon.
Definitely. Glasgow Uni, another good win against Glasgow United.
Playing really well.
Mate, even though they won the first game, lost 3, and then obviously winning yesterday, I feel like they're probably a better side than that. We've spoken about it where they're very much, again, they maybe fall into the same category as Greenock, where it's a young team, an experienced team. Seen a gaffer at the weekend having a pop at some boys who were on holiday, 5 boys on holiday, and it wasn't the best pleased. I think he's trying to instill the mindset that you need to be at your football. You've made that commitment at this level. This is a high level of football. You have to be there. And we both agree with that. It's non-negotiable.
Mark's switched on, mate, and he knows what he's doing, mate. He's very knowledgeable coach, mate. He knows what he wants, but definitely it might be uni and it's connected to the uni, but it's not a piss up, mate, and a piss take. You know what I mean? This is real football, mate. This is real stuff. So you want that bit of commitment, you want that boys with a good attitude, you know what I mean? And sacrificing, you need to sacrifice. See, when you play football and whether you coach or not, you need to sacrifice, you need to want it. You need to come in and do the hours, you need to come and work hard at training, and you need to make sure you try and get to your games and try and not miss them and stuff like that. So that's the sacrifices that need to be made.
Definitely. And finally, to finish off, Wishaw beating Maryhill 2-0. They've had a mixed bag season. Wishaw finally getting their first win. Important to them. I think that we need to get Mark on every weekend, because they got to win last week when he was coming on. He was obviously hyped up to come on here and be in good form, but losing yesterday at home. it's been a tough season, but we said this was going to be the case for them. It was pretty much a complete rebuild that he's had to do.
Yeah.
And they're already showing that they're getting better. It's just
that's the first game they've lost in 4, but a couple of more cup games. But Mark, he probably wants more points in the board in the league. Do you know what I mean? So he'll be disappointed by that. But at the same time, it's a good result for Wishaw. A welcomed win for them, and for them keeping their clean sheets very good, mate. So Wishaw will be buzzing with that.
Right, let's move on to Division 3 because we're basically going to look like we're going over an hour here, and we never do that. Ardrossan 5, Girvan 0, Bellshill 2, Irvine Vicks 3, Carluke 1, Vela Leven 3, Lanark 3, Larkhall 6, Lugar 2, Fanart 5, Newmains 3, Lesmahagle 4, Port Glasgow 0, Kello 1, Saltcoats 0, Royal Albert 2, Vela Clyde 1, East Kilbride 0. A lot of high scoring games. I will start on Ardrossan. Finally look like they're hitting the form that we expected of them at the start of the season. They're starting to turn it on a wee bit now.
5-star performance, 5 different scorers, top result for them. Well done to Ardrossan.
Definitely. Girvan management stepping down after the game, which is sad to see. Because they'd actually been picking up a wee bit. They'd won 3 in a bounce there. I don't know if there's maybe personal reasons or work reasons or whatever, but it did seem like they were starting to turn it around. Yeah. I know you.
We played them in the cup,
but that's no shame in that when they play a team 3 leagues above you.
We played them in the cup, mate, and they did cause us some problems on the day, mate. And in spells, they had some really good spells in the game. I'm gutted for Robert and that because Robert loves is a brilliant guy, and we spoke a lot a couple of weeks ago at our game, and I'm gutted for them. I'm gutted for both of them. Do you know what I mean? Because I know how much they wanted it to work there, and it's just not quite clicked for them this season. But hopefully they can kick on again. But no, I wish them all the best as well because they're good guys, and especially Robert, who I get on really well with too. So gutted to see that, mate, and I wish you all the best, Robert.
Yep. Big result for me, and I think it's an excellent result, is Larkhall beating Lanark 6-3 at Lanark. They've really turned it on, winning the last 4. That's Lanark's first defeat in the league. That's a great result, going there and taking 6 off them.
Mate, they're flying going forward, mate. See the amount of goals they're scoring.
24 goals in 7 games they've got.
Brilliant, mate. Unbelievable firepower, mate. So see, even if you're conceding 3 goals in a game, they're probably getting into games going, listen, it doesn't matter how many we concede, we'll just go and blast you out the water with scoring goals against you. Do you know what I mean? And listen, it's not the way you always want to win games. You like to try and keep clean sheets. But see, when you're scoring 6 goals a game, especially against a team as good as Lanark and how well we've started the season, it's a brilliant result for Larkhall. I looked at it at the weekend and I was really impressed with that. So they deserve top credit this week because to score 6 goals against them, win the game, it's very impressive stuff. Definitely. They must have played some great stuff on the day.
Another team for me who I know they're one of the new teams, and maybe it's just me that doesn't notice it. I feel they don't get the credit they deserve, or they're not getting the credit I think they should get. It's Fanart taking 5 off of Lugar. Lugar are a difficult team to beat, even though they're not having an amazing season. Brian's doing some job there. I mean, the fact that they've stepped up for Division 4, which doesn't have the same amount of quality in it as Division 3 does at the top end of the table. And they're in there, they're punching right above, right kind of at the top level there. That's 3 wins out of 5. Potentially win their games in hand, they could be looking at sitting 3rd or 4th in the league, and I think that's an absolutely tremendous start they've had so far.
Aye, they've been excellent. They've been a welcomed addition to the West of Scotland League. Do you know what I mean? Brian's done really well, and we know how hard he works after part 2 for the club, and a few others as well. And it's paid off because they've been into that league and they're putting some top performances in and they're scoring goals. They've got some good players there, and I think that they'll be a tough nut to crack for any team this season. I think that they'll have a big say and they'll be wanting to push on themselves to what happens this season.
Definitely. Lesmahagle getting himself joint top of a 4-3 win at Newmains. For me, even though that's a defeat for Newmains, that shows a wee bit of character that they're able to go and take 3 goals off of Lesmahagle, who are really in a good spell. And Kello staying top of the league, keeping their unbeaten record against the Port. Port maybe on the day as well as they would like to, because I think they've got a better side than what they're showing. But that's obviously shown the push Kello away, because that's a good result going down to Park Lee, getting that 1-0 win.
Even Kello's Twitter, I think, says that the Port had the better of the first half in that. So for them to go down there and probably have to defend for large parts of the game and stuff, and still to come out with the win and get the 1-0 win away from home, it's a great result for Kello. Greg Knapp started the season superbly, man. They've won every game, and the turnaround there's been fantastic. So well done to them. That's a tough place to go, and to keep a clean sheet is magnificent.
That is indeed. Royal Albert 2-0 first win against Saltcoats. That was a massive game for the two teams being down there. I know that Gunny and Andy and Derek will be really unhappy with losing that game. That'd have been one they had their eye on for a win. But massive well done to Royal Albert getting their first win and first points of the season. Good strong win and keeping a clean sheet.
That's what I was going to say. See, for Royal Albert, man, 3 points is always welcomed and delighted, delighted for everybody at Royal Albert. But see, for Royal Albert in the last few years, see a clean sheet, mate, brilliant, mate.
I know.
Even better, man. Damn. To just get a shutout is excellent, mate, and it's good to see. And they've had a good cup result, and then they've picked up 3 points there, so they're improving.
Maybe starting to turn a touch.
Yes.
Vela leaving, good win for them as well. A team that I said would be right down there, so that's an important 3 points. Killow really not having a great time yet. Lost all 5, scored 14, conceded 18. But well done to Vela leaving for getting that win there.
Yeah, very good result. Nah, it's been disappointing start for Killow. Paul Nathan will be happy, but they'll keep plodding on, you know what I mean, and see what they can get. But well done to Vela leaving.
Final game in Division 3. Vela Clyde 1, East Kilbride 0. That's East Kilbride have had a hard time. We've no hidden it that we feel that they should be doing better than they are with the quality that they have there. That's against a good team, one of the top teams in the league. That's probably a bit more like what they were hoping for. I know they've not got any points out it, but that's more a result you'd expect for that East Kilbride team, where you're saying, well, that's a top team, they're playing in the league and they're only losing by a goal. They're right in there. Obviously, they'd hope to win, but Vela Clyde are a really good side. They're doing really well at the moment. So that is a big win for them. And again, clean sheet.
I was going to say, mate, keeping a clean sheet against East Kilbride, because East Kilbride have got a lot of good firepower at the club. Yep. You know what I mean? So, Vela Clyde have started the season very well. They look as if they're for the outside that they're well organised and they know what they're doing and that. So I think that this could be a right good season for Vela Clyde, because they seem in these tight games against teams that you expect to be up there or thereabouts to get this wee knack of winning the game. Do you know what I mean? They've done it against Orion, they've done it against East Kilbride as well, and I think they've not played other than Vicks, have they?
No, they beat the Port as well. They beat the Port.
They beat the Port. So
that's another one where they lost the first game of the season. They've won the 4 since, and it's tough games. It's your Port, East Kilbride, like you're talking about there.
It's a great
you know what I mean?
Either
they're really, that's no, without being disrespectful, that's no New Mains, that's no Killow, that's no Saltcoats, Royal Albert. That's teams that you think are going to be up there competing with them. So that's a massive 3 points again. And I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I think that they're going to have a very good season. But let's move on to Division 4. Harmony Row 3, Eglinton 2, Kilsyth 3, West Park 2, Rossvale Academy 0, Threave 9, St Peters 2, BSC 1, Thorn 3, Easterhouse 3. Start on the top of the table clash. West Park 2 up against Kilsyth. Kilsyth got a man sent off in 30 seconds. And
goalie, I think, mate.
Was it a goalie? Possibly the quickest red card and since the West of Scotland started. I'd definitely say it is the quickest red card since it started. 2-0 up. It's one of the ones that it's not what we want to talk about. West Park's indiscipline has cost them this time. 2 up, get 2 men sent off, lose 3-2. Bailey and the boys will be absolutely delighted with that, keeping their perfect record. West Park losing their perfect record when they've had such a really strong start to the season, but indiscipline's let them down, getting a couple of men sent off. I don't know if that's 3 or 4 they've had sent off in the first 4 games, which isn't what they want, particularly when they're a team that you expect to be going to push and win for the league.
I think it's early days, mate. I think it is early days. But one thing's for sure, it's a great result for Kilsyth, especially being 2-0 down with 10 men. They've got themselves back in the game. And then I think then that's when West Park lost their first player when it's went back to 2-1. So West Park will be disappointed, because at 2-0 at half time against 10 men, management will just be like, listen, let's just box clever, let's keep our discipline, let's just play, see the game through. And they've no went and done that. But they have got quality players there. They just need to just kind of watch with suspension and stuff like that, because if they keep their best players fit and available, then they'll be a tough team for anybody to play. But the hard thing is Threave looked very, very strong.
I was going to touch on that there. That's with West Park. This could come back on them when you play a Threave, and what if you have 2 or 3 missing through suspension against Threave?
Yeah.
It's looking like, even though Kilsyth and St Peters are joint points, or even though St Peters played a game more, it's looking like Threave are going to be the team to beat. I mean, they're going out 9 after Rossvale, who have shown that they're not a bad side.
Yeah.
9 after him, and they're only losing to Sagenta 1-0. You know what I mean? And that's Sagenta's second in the East Premier. They're a top side at that way.
Mm-hmm.
That shows that Threave are a very good team. I don't think maybe the information that was passed to me was exaggerated in terms of the amount of money they have, but they're a team who are going to be well back. They're a team who have come into this to go through the leagues. That's what they're expecting to do.
I think on paper, Threave look probably as if they're ready to be a division or 2 higher up. Do you know what I mean? And that's probably more where it would be interesting to see the level. But at the same time, they still got to go out and beat the teams in front of them, and they still need to go and win the league. Do you know what I mean? Before they can push on. So it is still early doors. I think that Kilsyth and I think that West Park will still have a big say in that. And I still even think the likes of Ford and St Peters, that who started really well, will have something to say about
that. Definitely. Threave scored 22 and conceded 1 in the first 4, so it shows how strong their defensive and going forward. I mentioned to Harmony getting their first win and first points of the season, beating Eglinton 3-2. I'm pleased for Keith to get that win. And I don't have any new information on Harmony this week, so it's all we can talk about, which is nice.
Positive, mate. Positivity is good, and just speaking about football is what it's all about. So amazing for Harmony. Well done to Keith and his players. It's a great result, because Eglinton had picked up there the last couple of weeks. They looked as if they were turning the corner a wee bit, and I seen that they were disappointed. They said they missed a lot of chances and stuff, but same time it just shows you, if you don't take your chances, it can come back and bite you in the arse, because that's a very, very good welcome 3 points for Harmony Row, and it'll be the feel-good factor in training all week, and that's good to see. The boys will be getting into training with a spring in their step, and I'm glad, because it's been a tough few weeks start.
It's been a hard spell for them, and I have been quite vocal on what's been going on in the background with them. It's nice to see them get a win, because we were very complimentary of them last year. It was a team I enjoyed watching last year.
Yeah.
Good young football inside, and I think that I really like what Keith is wanting the club to be. It's to just purely be a pathway for Harmony Row and its ex-Harmony Row players coming back. I think it's a great thing. They know they're never going to be a Premier League team with the model they have, but that's not what it's about for them, and I think that's really important. Thorn 3 each way, Easterhouse. They'll be disappointed with that. I think they were a couple of goals up at one point.
They were 3-1 up, mate. I think they were 3-1 up.
Battle well to come back. That's 2 draws as well. Still not get that first win, but that's 2 games in a row that they've managed to pick up.
That's typical of Mark Mackay, mate. His team will never give up, mate. They'll fight right to the very end, mate. So for them to be 3-1 down and come back and take a point out of it, I know it's only a point, mate, but one thing that will feel like a victory to them, because it always feels nice, you know what I mean, when you come back for a couple of goals down. Fawn will be disappointed. They've looked good and had good cup results in the last couple of weeks as well, but that's a great result for Easterhouse as well, and Fawn will be very disappointed, especially being in a winning position. But tremendous for Mark. It's been a couple of draws to build on now, and that's a couple of games that they've not lost in the league. So it's just about small building blocks when you start, especially a new club and a full new team, and they'll continue to get better for that.
Definitely. And to finish off, St Peters 2, BSC 1. We've spoken. BSC are having a really good start to the season. if they had won yesterday, they'd be sitting joint top with a game extra played. The St Peters have beaten them, and I'm not gonna lie, it's actually really nice to see how well St Peters are doing. Because
Brilliant.
I know how young that team is. We spoke about Greenock having 10 under 21s. I'd be very, very confident in saying St Peters have the youngest squad by quite a distance in the west of Scotland. And a lot of the boys are really good players. I've seen most of them play. They're a really good side, a really nice football side. I thought maybe they'd be a bit young and maybe a bit naive, even though they won the 20s league last year. But maybe a
Yeah,
bit naive. But they're
yeah,
showing a lot of quality, conceding very few goals. They're getting goals. I think that JD, Neil and Gav are doing a great job there, and that's another big win for them to keep themselves
yeah.
out in the race.
Very good result because we were singing BSC's praises and saying how well they've kicked on for losing the first game of the season, and they were sitting joint points at the top of the league. So brilliant result for St Peters, been a very, very good start for them. No, it's a young team, and listen, see, being honest with you, with the good results, unfortunately, people will start maybe going taking in many other games to have a look at these young boys as well, and they'll not be welcomed for St Peters because they'll want to keep them. But the good thing that they've got is all the boys have came through together. So
Aye.
it's very difficult to get players off them because the players want to stay and play with their pals, and if they're all good in the same age in that, I imagine, I've said it before, the dressing room will be tight and it will be good camaraderie in that, and the boys will be really comfortable, do you know what I mean, because they all know each other so well.
Well, that's the thing. They know the manager. They know the way the manager wants to play. JD wants them to play very nice football. That's what he's all about. That team won the Scottish Cup. I think it was 3 years ago. They won the Scottish Cup. They won the 20s league last year. They know how to win. I'm not saying they're going to win the league this year. I don't think they will. I think that Threave are too strong. I think that they'll push Kilsyth and West Park pretty close, but they know how to win. The day know how to win, and I think it's
Yeah,
another correct result for them. But that's us, mate. That is us. Oh, this is the longest one we've ever done. That's us going to an hour.
I think to be honest, mate, we touched on a lot of games, didn't we? Again,
We did, but it was
see,
good.
being honest with you, right, this is the thing, right? People could say that they get a wee bit annoyed when we don't cover their team. So if we're going to touch on more games, then we need to appreciate that we'll go score that wee bit longer. Do you know what I mean? So if the views aren't as good, then we'll just strip it back again and we'll not talk about your team. We'll talk about all the teams, mate.
We don't want that to happen. We don't.
No, mate. Listen. Every team, a lot of games get covered this week, mate. And that's what I love, mate. It's good to have you back, and plus I missed you last week, mate. So I felt as if we had a lot to talk about.
You're going to have to do it again next week too.
I'm going to need to get somebody in there.
Aye, because that.
Why don't the people come at me with a couple of suggestions, mate? If you think anybody is up for the cup, would be good value for money next week, let me know. Obviously, I'll need to ask PG. He'll have the final say since he's the boss, man. But
Call me.
I've got a wee bag of, I've got a wee black book of people that I would ask. But why don't the people let us know who they would want to come on and chat with next week with that? I'll be a bus ball next week, so I've got a wedding next Saturday, so it'll be even better. I'll need somebody to come and lead next week because I'm going to be a write-off.
Well, mate, that's thing. I'll probably be next week when this comes out. I'll be sitting enjoying this with a beer in New York. You know what I mean? Just chilling, lovely weather, enjoying this. But obviously, I'm still going to have to edit it and all that on my holiday. You know what I mean? 'Cause that's my commitment. I love it that much that on my holiday, I'm going to have to buy the message. Like, away you go. I've got to do a bit of editing now.
Yeah, I love you for it, son. I love you for it.
Right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Right,
And I hope you all have a good week. Take care. See you
have
later.
a belter.